Mm, yeah, I I guess we have the big crowd of people here. So it's up to you, Celine, if you want to have your video on or not. He cut his hair.
Sorry, Lynn, you're getting the destroyed. They've all been torn apart just because he cut his hair.
Mm-hmm. That's all it takes. Oh, okay.
Maybe she's on her way here.
Maybe.
To be fair, you just kind of sent it without any warning
That
and like
is-
no messages.
That is true. I forgot though we had Celine and Bennett.
Is Bennett gonna be here?
No, he's sick.
Be a little tired, Jones. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, do you know where the eraser went? I don't know. Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's such a serene picture.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
We're just waiting for him to join, pretty much. So how about you guys that just came in? How you guys doing?
Yeah, I love it, yeah. I was like that yesterday.
Mm.
Last today, like.
Mm. Yeah.
Did you guys get your documents?
I
Documents.
do need that. I already read this one.
What documents?
Like I already had it.
We have to make
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm like halfway through it.
I already had a lot of things done already.
I kind of copy pasted a lot.
Mm.
I know a lot more.
I need to update my video. You're suggested for me to make. My story line. Or like it's. Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. That's true.
Then we have Mr. President. in the head.
Here we go. Yes.
Hello.
Hey Tyler, how you doing?
Pretty good. Hi, everyone. Good crew. Good amount of people. Nice. How
Yeah.
are you, Jeff?
So, how you been doing lately? It's been a while since we talked.
Pretty good. Pretty good. How about you? How's your semester going?
Same as everyone here, just get busy.
Nice. Busy's good. Nice.
Yeah.
Are you in your final year?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, we got a few other seniors in here too.
Cool. Nice. I see some hands. I saw a hand go up.
Yeah, also senior.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I'm here for whatever questions you guys have. What's
Great.
the let's start this
So,
thing. Are we ready?
it'd be great to start if you could go over just generally what you do in the industry, your position, the different projects that you've taken on, and all that.
Awesome. Yeah, so most of the time, not right now because of these strikes, everything is just on pause, which has been not fun, but I've been scrappy getting by with like little projects, but I'm a storyboard artist and animator. I've most recently, most notably too, been on Big Mouth and then Human Resources as a storyboard revisionist. And that's kind of just eaten up like the last like 2.5 years of my life. I've done 3 seasons total with that crew. We were going into our last and final season, which would have been my 4th season, and then we got shut down because of the strikes. Just day one, we were like we were in between seasons for like a month, and then we were going into season 8, and then we just got the call like, hey, strikes are affecting us. We're not going to be working. Now it's like a day 143, but who's counting? And they're still going on, but they're talking today. There's actually supposed to be some news, so fingers crossed on that. But that's what I do, storyboard artist.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I saw the news about apparently they're supposed to be sitting down to talk again today. It's hoping for good news. Yeah.
Yeah, they sat down yesterday, and apparently talks went well. There's rumors going around that they're trying to cut a deal today. So I've been like watching the news. I've been like, I don't know, which is not great to do because sometimes it's just I don't know. You can't get your hopes too high with stuff like that. So
Yeah, just
for
gotta
now, I've just been
see.
still doing my freelance stuff, still looking for other freelance stuff.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah, it looks like that stuff's been going well too. I've been watching your Instagram, and your work's definitely still good.
I
Even with the time
appreciate
off, you're still working, which is good.
I've resorted to, so during this time, I've resorted to animation gigs, which I never really took on. I kind of was just like, I don't want to be like 2D animation jobs is what I do. I know, I don't know what focuses there are over at Penn State, but do you guys do a lot of 3D stuff?
In our major, we tend to go over very broad spectrum. We have 2D animators. Raise your hands. That'd be me, him, her back there. We got 3D animator. We
Those.
got yeah,
Nice.
we got motion graphics people. It's yeah,
Any storyboard artists?
back
No.
there.
All right.
All the way back
Okay, back
there.
there. Good stuff. And then so yeah, just during this time I got to do some animation on Hush Hush. I got to do some animation on Big Mouth last season. At the end of last season, they were just trying to keep people around, and they were like, "Hey, we have this one sequence where like we want to do some like more dynamic stuff." So like I didn't know Flash or Adobe Animate prior to that. Like I was trained on like pencil and paper. I knew like TV Paint. I had done Toon Boom a little bit, no rigs though, just hand drawn stuff. And so they were working in Flash, and I was like, I would love to. I love to animate, but I don't know the program. But they paid me and taught me, and I got to do some cool stuff. And ever since then, I've just been like working with like some of my old bosses and stuff on projects. Like I did a music video for about butts recently, and that was with one of my bosses on Big Mouth, and that was really fun. So I don't know. I've been leaning on that more during this time just to get by. And once the writers resolve, apparently we go back to work. So I am just waiting pretty impatiently on that. But
Yeah.
getting by, being scrappy. I've done some projects I really hate right now. Like I've been helping like I'm not gonna say what it is. I've been like helping on a YouTube channel with like somebody that went to my school, and it's just poorly organized. And like she's a really nice person, but like I don't know, it's not a big, well-oiled machine like Big Mouth is. So just
That makes sense.
hearing this. But by the time you guys graduate, this will all be over and done with, and I think that's something to be optimistic about. Like at least like this will help future shows and movies and stuff. And don't be discouraged by it. I mean, like this doesn't happen often. It's a temporary thing. And I know a lot of people like in animation are just like kind of on their asses, and it's tough for a lot of people, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's true. I've also recently been seeing a huge jump in independent studios with the recent strikes as well, which is definitely very nice to see, in all honesty.
Definitely. I mean, I've been thinking of doing that too. I was trying to do that when I was in school, and then
Mm.
kind of stepped away from that just to focus on like stuff that will guaranteed make me money. But it's kind of a crapshoot. You just got to find your clients. And so that one dude I've been working with, one of my bosses from Big Mouth, the dude I did the butt music video with,
Mm.
he it has been like doing that, just like built his own little studio. He's getting work, and doing another project with him next week. So I'm excited
Nice.
about that.
That's good. That's good that you're also keeping busy. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta hustle, really, especially starting out. That's like some advice I like to give students too, is just when you start out, like start small if you need
Mm.
to. Shoot big though, like apply to that Disney job. Like keep getting your reel in the right spot, like get feedback on it, and just don't give up, just be persistent,
Mhm.
and you'll eventually, like it feels like impossible sometimes. I started from the East Coast, like so I'm from Jersey. I started school in North Carolina, like a really crappy animation program. They had like a good fundamentals program, which is great. Like I learned how to draw, a lot of figure drawing, which was good. But like when it came down to animating, like I was just learning from professors who like never had industry experience, and like that was tough. And I don't know, like you just got to kind of navigate your own career path. And
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I've heard that from many people before, and seeing most of the people that we've gotten advice from in the club are people like in their 50s, so they were back in like the ye olden days of the animation industry. So it's really nice to talk with somebody that's a lot more in our, you know,
tread lightly
possible
with,
range of entering
yeah,
the industry. Yeah.
tread lightly with the older people, like just be polite. And they might have really good experience, but they might not know the current state of the animation industry. So you gotta just kind of like learn for yourself,
Mm.
and kind of pick apart what they say, learn what's still valuable information. Like I don't know, the school. So I started in North Carolina, transferred out to Southern California to finish up my degree. I did 4 years at an art school there, and I only got like some credits transferred over too. So like had to do 4 years, whatever. It was still fun, but they had us animating on like pencil and paper the whole entire time, and like that's a great way to start learning. But like no jobs right now other than like Duncan Studios, who did like Mary Poppins, is doing pencil and paper. So like all the students knew like, okay, like we need to learn these programs outside of the classroom. So that's another piece of advice I like to give, like push yourself outside of the classroom. And then like when you do, like if you want to focus on 3D animation and you're not getting a lot of classes doing that, play with the program outside of class, like do something for your reel, and like just I don't know, practice. You'll get better with practice. And
Yeah.
like surround yourself with like the students who are pushing themselves too. Like you want to be like, you don't want to, you want to be around people that are better than you, because it's an osmosis. It'll like make you better too. Like I've drawn my best stuff where Big Mouth is like a crude looking show. Like I did not like it before I started on it. And then like I didn't like the designs, but like I never like watched it and like appreciated the boards. Like I'm getting to work with people who are just like masters. Like they are super good, and it's just made me a better artist. And like I love drawing fabric now. if you would have asked me for like 4 years ago, do you like drawing fabric? I would have been like, whatever, fabric's okay. Now, like, give me like a dress blown in the wind. Like, that's so fun to plan out. So, I'm
That's
like,
really cool.
yeah.
That's really cool getting the new experiences just on the job, kind of just as you're going. Yeah. I guess one of the questions I had for you is generally what kind of media inspires you outside of just work, pretty much? Because obviously you get a lot of inspiration from, as you just said, the other people you work with
Uh-huh.
and projects you're given. But outside of that, where do you draw your inspiration from usually?
I mean, so many different spots. Like, I mean, just life in general. Just it's important to get out of the house, step away from your work, and like enjoy yourself. I think that's really valuable. But like artistic inspiration or like inspiration from cinematography, like I watch a lot of live action stuff. Like I'll go study like a scene from Breaking Bad or something. Like that makes me a better like storyteller. Like seeing like how and like it's good to like look at a script and then like compare that to the final shot. I'll
Hmm.
watch for animated stuff. Like I love The Simpsons, and that really applies to like the show I'm on. It's another primetime show, so seeing what they're doing. But I really got pushed into animation by an artist from regular show. Like I was
Really?
in high school and I was just like reaching out to artists, and sometimes you don't hear back.
Hmm.
But I don't know, this one dude, he was a character designer on the show, and like I loved regular show. I was like, this is the kind of thing I want to work on. It still is. Like it's like
Hmm.
for older kids, and I feel like that's kind of like what I want to move to eventually. I've worked on like preschool stuff. I've worked on like pretty young kid stuff. I'd like
Hmm.
to work on like something for like a 14-year-old that has like a warped sense of humor like I do. I don't know. Regular show is like that for me. So that's a big inspiration also. So live action stuff, I would say like anything on HBO is usually filmed really well. You want to know like I'm speaking as a storyboard artist for this too. Like
Right.
for me, like I watch something, I'm like, okay, like is this person following the rules? Yes, okay, like I can study this. And then like it's good to see like when they break the rule, like when they break like screen direction or when they cross the camera line, like whatever. But like would you say majority? So I'm trying to gauge like what everybody is. Would you say majority is you guys are like 3D animators? Is that
Uh, it
2D?
seems like we're kind of in this
Split?
room right now. We're kind of split between 3D and 2D pretty evenly,
Okay.
but most of the people here are animators.
Okay. Anybody want to like focus on pre-production, like design work or background design?
We got
Okay.
two people.
Nice. I seen the so nice. All right. Yeah. I mean, no matter what your like path is, it is good to just like look at different things. Like look how like as an animator, like go outside and look how people move. Like go to a cafe and like sketch some poses. Like see how people sit. See how like somebody like looks when they're relaxed or like when they're a little tense. You know, like
Hmm.
just, keeping them balanced and stuff. So like I think that's really important. And then see like what people are doing in 3D animation to like push stuff or 2D animation. Like look when people are like stretching stuff out, squashing stuff, when they're applying like all the principles of animation to their stuff. Look at how a flag moves or something, you know, study that. Just like focus on the movement. If you're an animator, if you're a background designer, like go study some architecture. Character designer, like go try some turnarounds, go see what they look like for other shows, like see like what the perspective of the feet are, like where the horizon line is.
Yeah. Have you ever had those moments? This is kind of weird, but it's like you ever had those moments where it's sometimes your animation brain kind of just kicks in, like in a normal conversation or something. Like somebody's like talking to you and they just like do some kind of like mannerism or something. It's like, wow, I could do something like that in like 3 frames.
Yeah, I could steal that. I could steal
Yeah.
that. I mean, like live action is also great for that too. Like as an animator, just like looking how like people act truly
Mm.
instead of like how an animator and like how like somebody on Incredibles like made like Dash act or something. Like go see like what people really are doing. Like people like to fidget a lot with stuff, you know, like that's a great like thing to add to a character. So like inspiration can be pulled from so many spots. Just I have a list of like my favorite movies I like scenes I like in movies. I recommend doing that too.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. Uh, I guess on top of that, those are current inspirations, but I remember you were talking about how this character artist from regular show kind of pushed you into the industry. What
Mhm.
uh what before that, like you were it sounds like you were talking to people, reaching out to people in the industry before. What kind of pushed you to be interested in animation as a field?
So I always love to draw. I'm drawing right now. I have a problem with it, but I uh, I always love to draw. I always took art classes. Like that was always like just I mean like all kids draw. Like I think that's pretty common, but like I as I got older, like I always like took the art classes and then like I got stuff like put in art shows and I was like, huh, like people think I'm decent. That's nice. That's cool. Never really thought of it as a genuine career path. Like I was like trying to study chemistry when I like first was looking at schools. I was like really good at chemistry. I'm really happy I didn't go for that, but I got for Christmas or my birthday or something, I got like a how to draw the Simpsons book. It's actually behind me somewhere. I still have it. And I would just trace the characters. And I like loved that. I loved the Simpsons. And then like I remember like my brother teaching me about like how animation was done. And I thought that was really interesting. And then when I was like in high school, I was like, huh, like maybe I can make like I was always drawing cartoons too, specifically. So I was like, maybe I could get a job in this. So I reached out to a few people and then I heard back like, hey, like from the dude from a regular show, he kind of told me he was like, this is a viable career path. Like I do make good money and like it's something that is achievable if you just work for it. And that advice has definitely lived with me. I've actually like crossed paths with him out in LA now and like it's like really cool like he could be my coworker one day. Like we've been on like we like know the same people now. One day I'll probably pass some files off to him or something. I don't know, but it's yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
That's
I got
really cool.
involved.
That's really cool, like how that sort of like flow of inspiration kind of moves from person to person. Because of course somebody must have done something similar for him before he got in the industry, and now
Yeah,
you're doing it for us as well. It's really cool seeing how the people's communication can create something that's great as getting a viable job in art, doing stuff that you like.
definitely. I think my mentality with it is just like people helped me like aside from him like just like chatting with artists like you know like nothing when you start out like I didn't know there was an animation union. I didn't even know what a union was when I was like starting like college. Really, I was like, how is that beneficial? I don't get it. It just didn't compute. And then like you learn all the ins and outs, and you learn like why it's important, like where you need to be, like what you need to do, and like that just comes from like learning from others in the industry. I try to pass that off to people too as much as I can. Like I like
Mm,
talking to students. I think it's important to hear like how others got in. Everybody's
mm,
career path is going to be different. Everybody has like it might be a little more similar for other people pursuing like storyboarding, but like if you're going into 3D animation, like you could kind of be like more places, I feel.
mm.
Storyboarding is kind of like a little locked into like Los Angeles and then like some stuff in Vancouver, some stuff in Georgia, a few things in New York, and then it's like if you're not in those places, you can only get like freelance stuff. But
Mm.
the actual production side of things, like I feel like you could be anywhere. You could be anywhere for any job. What I'm saying isn't totally true, but it is good to be near a hub. really living near a hub. Like Atlanta has like a good bit of stuff. Texas actually has some stuff too.
Hmm.
But like just being like, I don't know, like I felt I needed to be near Los Angeles for what I was doing. So like I came out here and like it's never a good idea to just like go like, I'm gonna try to make it in LA, like I'm gonna go move there. Like you gotta have like some job, even if it's crappy lined up, you know, like some retail job and some roommates. Like that's how I got started out here. And eventually like you'll make your way into a studio and like listen to people. Like if you're not getting jobs, look like internally, look at your work and like try to get some feedback on it. Like maybe there's room for improvement. And it's good to get feedback. It's good to get feedback from people like in the industry mainly, like, rather than like fellow students. Cause I don't know. Fellow students is also good. Like have some friends you could like shoot some stuff around to. Like, hey, how does this look? I'm submitting it for something, but
Yeah,
definitely get feedback. Know where you got to be. Everyone's path is different.
yeah, that's definitely good advice. It's something. Yeah, it makes sense that you'd want feedback from somebody that's already in, like,
Mhm.
because they would have the experience to do so. Yes.
Sorry, I had a question. You talked about like when you're first starting out, you want to like fly, shoot for like the Disney job or whatever. Would be some like some advice you can give for making your own like portfolio stand out from like other artists that are? Do you have any advice?
Yes. Make it good. Really. That's how you gotta stand out. Some places hire newer artists. I would say what makes your real standout is less student work. So like people are going to be able to spot like a class project over something that has like existing IP. Like if you work on, I don't know, somebody give me a show, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You have a shot of that in your reel, like they're going to be like, that guy, just experience, you know, like you got to like, and so that's why I recommend like starting small. Like go look at some commercial studios, like look around, like there's plenty in like New York, a lot of commercial studios. Just dig around and like reach out to them when you're ready to actually like commit to working on a project and do something with them. Like if you have like something for like, I don't know, like I did a DoorDash commercial and like that stood out to the big mouth people. And they were like, hey, let's give this guy a test. And then they like tested me and they were like, your test is all right. Let's talk. And then I talked to them and they were like, you're hired. And that's kind of just how it happened for me. And it was actually all through Twitter, which sucks because I was like so hateful. Again, like I just hated Twitter. I was like, it's so toxic. People complain so much. Like,
You mean X now?
yeah, true. Yeah, X. I can't even call it that. It's too much. It's too much. I feel like an old man with it. I'm like, it's Twitter. But
Yeah,
really just having a prominent online presence is really important. And then like look for jobs that way. Jackson, I think you and I talked about that spreadsheet. Does
yeah.
everybody know about that?
Uh, I don't, I don't think everybody here knows about it, but I'm gonna share it with them.
Okay.
It's a large spreadsheet that a lot of businesses in the industry just submit jobs to internationally, and it goes like thousands long. And it's always updated too, because there are always new jobs being posted.
I'm just
So
gonna, if I talk about a link, I'm just gonna type it down and I'll shoot you an email after. But
yeah.
yeah, so it's really good. I'll just hit Command F and I'll be like storyboard jobs and like or storyboard artists, whatever, and like
Hmm.
filter through all that and see like okay, like I could apply to that one. And I applied to like 200 jobs probably before I got like this Titmouse job, the big mouth job. I'm at Titmouse. That's the studio I'm with, or usually with. It's a
Uh,
little tricky right now, but yeah. So to stand out, just start small, get some like decent looking shots in your reel, and eventually like you will have something. Like from this year alone, I had like pretty much a fully traditional animation reel, like all pencil and paper, and then like color done in TV Paint, and then like some stuff I animated in Storyboard Pro, and I kind of don't mind doing, but it's not industry standard, so maybe not good advice. But like I like scrapped together like all of my shots I did this year alone. And like I had a new reel and I submitted for a job like a week ago. They actually emailed me this morning and I'm like, don't want this job. So I'm debating that right now. We'll see how that goes. But like something there stood out to them. And it's probably because I had like a big mouth character in there, like doing some stuff. But yeah, I did see another hand go up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so like if I was gonna ask, like, so what do you think of like the idea of having your portfolio include like pieces of work that you started out with and your most recent pieces that you consider like the most proud of, to show a incorporation from studio to see the improvements in your work over the years.
Wait, I missed that last part.
So
What was
okay,
the last part of it?
Yeah, do you want to come up here?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
All right, that helps.
Yeah.
there you go.
Hi. So what I was trying to ask was, so like when you have your before, like, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. So
Okay.
when you, so like, would it be like, what do you like, what do you think of like the idea of having your portfolio have like pieces of work that you made, like some of your like oldest like pieces of work, and some of your some of your most recent pieces that you consider like to be your best, most proud of, to show a studio how far you've come and the improvement you made over the years. And
I
yeah.
would maybe advise against it. I don't think they don't care about growth. They're
Yeah, it's true.
some people are just like they're gonna see the bad work or not bad work, but older work, and if it's not up to par, it's gonna be just skipped over. Like they click through so fast, like they just make a judgment and it's like on to the next thing. I would say only show your best work, really.
I can agree with that statement. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking.
No, I think it's a good question. I think and there's no bad question. I think anything you guys have, like I'm really happy to answer it. I think because it is hard to navigate and like look what other people are doing. Just sunk down in my chair. Look what other people are doing and like just look at like some demo reels from like people starting out. You were the so-so 2D.
Yeah, I'm a I consider myself like a multi-artist. Like I'm both a 2D and a 3D artist that use various softwares, and
Okay.
I also consider myself a part-time like artist and animator because I just been for the past 3 years, just because I've been so inconsistent with my time when creating my work because of like school and how I manage my free time and stuff. So yeah. But
Well,
I've been doing it now for 3 years and definitely did make improvements with my work.
nice.
Yeah.
Are you in animation? Are all of you animation majors? I know this is like
No.
club. Okay. So this is just animation club with that's cool. What's your
Yeah.
major?
Engineering, either civil, electrical, or mechanical, with a
Okay.
possible minor in game development.
Very cool.
But if I could have, I would definitely double majored.
Nice. Yeah, I think yeah, especially if you're not an animation major, like it's hard to get information like outside of the classroom. Like really just look at other portfolios and definitely show your best work. Like I know so many people. I know people who came from engineering and like now they're like storyboard supervising directors on shows and stuff. Like it definitely like like the same type of brain you need for animation, you know? So
True. Yeah,
keep
I could
keep
definitely see
working
that.
at it.
Yeah,
People hop back and forth between animation jobs and like stuff like engineering.
yeah,
Modeling.
hmm,
That's cool.
yeah. But thankfully, I do know the 12 principles animation pretty
Yeah,
well.
I'm sure I would hope. Do you guys have, let me get it. Hold on.
Yep.
Pulling it out, Jackson. I think I told you about this, but
Yeah.
everybody have this?
No.
No. Okay. Putting a link to it.
Yeah.
So this is Richard Williams' Animator's Survival Kit, and it is just like no matter what, I probably pull it out every time I work. Like if I'm like I want to know how to do a walk cycle, because like I don't know, like what's the pacing of a walk cycle? He's got it all like mapped out for you. It looks a little complicated. You might see some doodles of mine in here. Like, look how he does his feet. Whoa. Well, I guess that's a tiptoe. Something's going on there. But very good book. And like that's like just really it correlates to like everything other than like it talks about like design stuff. It talks about just animation stuff. Applies to storyboarding. Like I got to pose out all my stuff. And I rely on that pretty heavily. I'll add that to my links that I'll send out. But yeah, knowing the 12 principles of animation is a good thing. Nice. Any other questions?
Yeah. We'll open up to Q&A for right now. Your hand was up first. You can come up here if you want. Yeah.
Sorry. You're good. I was just gonna ask, like, when you're working on like a larger scale production like Big Mouth, what is your like day-to-day, like, I guess, schedule? Like, what is it like working on something like that? How long are the hours? What's the workload like? And just, yeah.
I usually, so I mean, every week is different for me. So for my job, I'm a storyboard revisionist, but like if you threw me on Bob's Burgers, they would classify me as a storyboard artist. It's just like the only thing I'm not doing is thumbnails for the show. So like a thumbnail is just like that initial first sketch, like, okay, this is gonna be a two-shot of these characters. They're walking that way. And that's like the only thing I don't do. But what I'll get is I'll get that initial thumbnail and I got to do a layout of it. So I got to like draw the characters on model, very limited poses for this phase. And I will do the layout, I'll draw the characters on model, I'll do the background and like figure out the perspective, like plan out like, okay, like we got a window here and then like this archway here, there's a TV somewhere back there. Like I gotta like figure out kind of like the basic space and we'll get a lot of pre-design for a new location. So that helps a lot. Like I don't want to like figure out the architecture of like everyone's house. Like I got to move on. Like just figuring out like the perspective and like how high the walls are and stuff is kind of like what I focus on and just like blocking out like the environment, like where characters are going to be moving, like the path they're going to go through. Once that's approved, that's kind of like the first thing like the creators of the show will see is like the layout of it. And then they'll be like, okay, like I like the acting here. They'll give their notes. They'll be like, let's turn this to a frowny face. Let's totally restructure this. And then like, because it's limited posing, like it's easy to just redo. It's like, okay, like we're changing this shot up. We don't have it fully posed out. Let's fix it, get their approval, and then pose it out. So like once we get the layouts approved, then we move on to keyframes, which they're pretty blatant. They just call it keyframing. So like I'm kind of like I'm that's like, I don't know, most shows would just call it like posing. They'd keep it like kind of vague, like, oh, you're not like keyframing stuff, but like we're like almost animating on Big Mouth. Really, we're doing like all the keyframes. We are keyframe artists too. So we do all that, and some stuff's just like acting, like I say like one pose per punctuation. So like if there's a comma somewhere in a sentence, like let's do 2 poses, whatever. And then we pose out like the entire episode. We have a pretty big team, and like we all just like go at it. Everybody like kind of shines during that too. Like we have some like really talented animators that like moved on to storyboards on our show. And Bob's Burgers over at Bento Box does the same thing, like, but their thumbnails are done by their directors. On our show, like the storyboard artists do the thumbnails. And but on my show, so like we do thumbnails, layout, keyframe, then the animatic is built. Some people move on to the next episode, and then like as a revisionist, you might like actually do your revisions on like scenes after that. So like I'll stay on for an episode while like the board artists move on to the next one, and like I'm just hitting notes for like 2 weeks. I'll be like, all right, like this isn't working, like the way the character kicks off his shoes isn't working, like let's redo that. And so and my director gives me those notes. He's like, let's fix this, and or like whatever. Or executives, like notes come from like so many different places. It's just like you have, which could sometimes be overwhelming. My show is a little streamlined. I've been on ones where it's just like people give notes just to give notes, like no matter what, you're going to get 2.5 pages of notes. That's actually the same way on Big Mouth too. Like they're going to give you 2.5 pages of notes minimum, no matter what. So some things are easier than others, but so I actually do a real revision phase, and then I will then also help with like lock. So like after revisions are done, there might be like just like a handful of notes left, and then like we'll have to like lock the animatic for Korea. And like once it's locked, it's done. It's like shipped out, like it's ready to go. And then I will also do like when animation comes back, I'll do like storyboard retakes too. So I will like we'll go through and like sit, like I don't know, like Korea might like mess up like a walk cycle, or like how a character's picking up stuff, or like some contact poses like a hug or something. And so like I got to go in back into the boards, and I got to like work in red during this phase, and like just like anything in red is like a retake, and then like that gets shipped back to Korea and reanimated. And so that's kind of, and then once all of that's done, then I go back to layouts, or if I'm lucky, they will let me thumbnail sometimes. So I'm like, all right, I got the thumbnail on the season coming out soon, and I was like, that was a good experience.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Most of the questions?
Hi. I'm
Hello.
Liam. I'm the storyboard guy that was in the back.
Nice. You're the hand all the way back
Yeah,
there.
hi.
Nice.
So yeah, next semester, actually in January, I'll be heading over to spend the semester in Hollywood, which
Nice.
is going to be some really interesting experiences for me.
Are you staying in
Sometimes,
Hollywood proper?
so sorry, can you repeat that?
Are you staying in like the town of Hollywood?
I'll be about in like the edge of Hollywood, Burbank, kind of like 6 minutes from Warner Brothers, apparently, is where we're
Okay. Good
to stay.
location. Hollywood itself is crazy. Like,
Yes.
the walk, avoid it like the plague. That
Yeah.
place is, my studio is like one of the only ones that's actually in Hollywood, and that
Gotcha.
place is something else. But there's some good spots too.
Yeah, I'm looking
Nice.
forward to it. Sometimes, it seems like, oh my God, I'm moving from Pennsylvania to California, LA, and it seems like
You'll have
impossible.
culture shock.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I'm excited, but also quite nervous. But seeing some people do the jump from like East Coast, New Jersey area to
Mhm.
the LA, that's always nice to see that some other people have done it. So like any tips on like what I can expect, or like get yourself settled in that LA area? I will be getting a car.
Okay, you need a
Yeah.
car. And
Yeah, I will be getting a car.
that's like LA tip number one. And practice on the roads.
Yeah,
Go to events like you will be here after Lightbox, it sounds like, but Lightbox is a really good convention that happens in like the Pasadena area. And I've talked to a lot of great people there. Just network,
Nice.
get yourself out there, and just Burbank's a really good spot to be specifically. Like that's where the jobs all are. Like all the animation studios are in Burbank. Like you go there and like you'll pass by like Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, like all that jazz, the Warner Bros. Lot. So
Yeah.
you're in a good spot there. I would say, do you have roommates?
Yeah, I'll have 4 roommates. No,
Okay.
3 roommates. Yeah, it's be 4 of us living in a
Nice.
place. Yeah.
Yeah. You got a job?
The internship starts in like 2 weeks or so.
Oh,
I
it's an
talked-
internship?
Yeah, I'll be working
Where at?
intern. Well, I'm gonna aim for something in the animation industry because that's but I'll be applying to anywhere basically.
So nothing locked in yet?
No, nothing. The place is basically locked in, but the internship studio and all is not locked in at the moment.
All right. Yeah. What year are you in at school?
So this should be my senior year, but due to my double major, I'm actually staying for a 5th year, so I'll be back
Okay.
here. Yeah, so
Nice. Yeah, find your footing out in Los
yeah,
Angeles. And
that's the
just
plan.
take advantage of it. Really go just learn the studios that are around you. Don't just think you're gonna walk into Disney. Like they are gatekeepers there. They are very picky with who they choose. You got to get some experience before you just like get in there, or you got to have like something that blew up online, really.
Yeah.
And it's got to look good. Some people blow up online for not great work, but that's besides the point. Just keep putting yourself out there, keep creating, and like have an online presence when you're here. You don't need a ton of followers. Just follow people in the industry, like their stuff. Maybe comment a nice thing. Don't be a pest. Not to say like you are, but like you never want to be like too in somebody's like zone. They might push you away. I don't know. I felt I could in that way when I was starting out, and like as a freshman I was like way too hyper. Don't be like that, I guess. And just network. Burbank is a really good spot to be. Talk to people.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for the tips.
Of course.
Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Yeah. Other question?
Hello, my
Hello.
name is Corey. I have my question is, in the recent years, what are your best and worst experiences apart from the strike that's currently happening right
Break is
now?
definitely the worst.
Because that was probably gonna be the worst one.
Nah,
uh,
at least I would say worst is starting out. Like finding that first job is really tough. And so again, just start small. Like I started with I had an internship at Cartoon Network, and that was not easy to get. It was it's very competitive. I applied once. They were interviewing me for like 2 different positions, and like my school gave me bad advice. Like the old guys at my school gave me bad advice. They were like, go for this one position. That
Seems
sounds
like
better. Development, and then it was a production internship. And the development internship is the one I chose. I was like, oh, working on like development is kind of like them, like it's the executive side of things more so. And like they kind of talked it up like it'd be like a little more involved with art. It wasn't. And so like I told the hiring person, I was like, hey, like I'll interview for the development thing. And like I went into that interview and they were like, we're not looking for artists in this position. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like that was pretty bad. And so like really just starting out was pretty tough. I ended up getting another interview like a few semesters later there after I did another internship, an unpaid internship too, which isn't fun, but it ended up being worth it because it led to me going back to Cartoon Network, knowing what position I needed to do. And like, so that helped. And like, after that, I was like, oh, like they're going to hire me, hopefully. Like, I don't know. They didn't. I had to finish school. And so, and they viewed me as a student still, which like is tough. Like people have, there's a stigma against students. And that's tough. So I then like started with like a small company doing like preschool stuff for YouTube. It was like awful content, and I won't say what it was, but whatever. Start small, build up your reel. You'll get a portfolio. And then finding that like first union job was really tough because I really wanted it. Like I came out of school and I was like, I want this union job really bad, but took time, took a lot of time. Took like a full year after school almost for me to like get onto a union show. And so that's probably the worst outside of the strike right now. But the best experience, I would say, honestly, working with my crew and like they have had me like thumbnail stuff. Like that's what I want to do too. And so like that's always just like I go into those weeks and I'm just like, yes, like let's go. Like it's exciting. It's such a thrill. And then like when your stuff like gets approved, like or you're told like you knock this out of the park, I'm like, yes, like that's a good feeling. Those are the really good days. And like you just gotta find a project you're passionate about. And like once you do that, like it is still work. Like you gotta step away from it at the end of the day. Like you don't want to do your like you don't want to do like overtime every day. Like that sucks. So just pace yourself when you get into a job and just you will enjoy those moments quite a bit where like you are working on a scene where it's like pushing you to your limits and like you're drawing stuff like you never thought like you were able to achieve. Like those days are the best. Like that's what makes the job worth it.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's my own question.
Do we have any other questions?
All right. Well, I think that finishes up the Q&A just about. You've given us a ton of great advice and honestly a great insight to how the industry is right now. And I guess well one last thing for me is so the hurricane hit California not that long ago. Are you doing?
It was weak. I went camping the next day. It was
Oh.
nothing. There was some lightning on my camping trip though. But yeah, there was an earthquake too. I didn't feel it. I'm a little inland now, and I think like the people on the coast felt that, but I wanted to feel it. Actually, I did say moving out here, I was like, I really want to feel an earthquake. Like that's gonna be awesome. Like that, like I gotta get like that Californian rite of passage. And I always thought like when there's an earthquake, like Californians are gonna be like so calm about it. Like that's what I always heard. Like they're like, ah, it's just an earthquake. Anyway, I was seeing Midsummer with my now fiance,
Oh,
and
nice. Congratulations.
thanks. And we were seeing Midsummer, and she like hates scary movies. And I don't know if you've seen that movie, but like people's heads get bashed open. It's like pretty gruesome. Like even I was like, ooh, like I don't know. And we're watching this movie, and then like I think I feel like something like kick in my chair, and I'm just like look behind me, and like the guys behind me are just like totally still, feet down. I'm like, they're not taking my chair. And then like Savannah, my fiance, leans over and she's like, why are you moving my chair? And I was like, that's not me. Like, and then I hear the guy behind me scream at the top of his lungs. He goes, it was like a really big earthquake. It was like the biggest one we've had in like a long time. It was like a 7.6, which is really intense. And it was like shaking for like 2 minutes in this place. And he goes, earthquake, we got to get the F out of here. And everybody started sprinting out of the theater, like for their lives. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if somebody got like trampled or something. Like it was like a surge of people. And nobody went to the emergency exit either. And I was like, these people were not calm during this. I actually dislike earthquakes now after that. So that was my first experience.
Oh, well, you got to experience it. I guess you got to check off
Yeah,
your
it was
California bingo card.
there's always something going on during the earthquakes, like a hurricane or like a fire.
Uh-huh. Yeah, or a gender reveal party.
Yeah. I saw that one from an airplane. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I guess recommendation, real quick, recommendation if like really like gory or like those kind of horror movies are you're not a fan of. Have you seen Nope?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Nope was good.
Yeah.
I like them. I'll watch them, but like I don't like
Yeah.
watching them get their heads bashed in. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna look
That's
away.
true.
Finish.
Yeah.
But
I
like
guess
I still enjoyed the movies. Like I was like I saw Hereditary and I was like, I'm never gonna see that movie again. And then like Halloween rolled around. I was like, let's watch Hereditary. Like that's a group of people I'm with.
Oh, yeah. I guess our question is the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Are you planning on seeing that or?
Yeah, that's like next year. I'll see it. I'm sure like my group of friends will want to go see that.
That's actually this October.
Yeah.
This October? I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
no, it's coming up fast.
Okay. I'll probably get roped into seeing that. I didn't know too much. Nice.
Alrighty. Well, it was great talking to you again, man.
Of course. Any other questions? I guess if I were to kind of sum it all up, my advice, start small but shoot big. Hone in, which I don't think I said to this crew, but like hone in on like one or two areas. Like for me, it's like animation and storyboarding. That was the advice I got when I was at Cartoon Network from their recruiters. Like, you don't want to apply to like a storyboarding job and like your whole portfolio is like illustration or like background art. Like, they're just going to move on to the next person. You got to like, they don't want a jack of all trades. They want a specialist. And like, so I'd say like pick two things and like maybe further in your career, if you're like, oh, I like character design, you could get involved in that. But like, don't be a generalist. Also, push yourself outside of the classroom. That one's really important for me. That was really important. And yeah, know where stuff is happening. That's the other one. LA is a big one. But like if you're like, I can't move to LA, like I got like my whole family out here and stuff, like there are options for you, especially if you are like a double major and you just kind of want to like dabble in animation work. Like there's a lot of commercial studios, there's a lot of freelance stuff you can find to be part of like the union and to get union rates. I think things are changing and I don't know the rules fully, but like when I moved out here, like to get union pay, I had to be in LA County. It was just like one of their rules. But like we have an artist in Canada on my show. I don't know how he got on, but like I'm sure they're not paying him the same as everyone else. So
I know recently they extended it to New York.
yeah, the guild, right? I don't know if that's just certain studios or if it's like, hey, I work at Titmouse and I want to move to New York, like how that works. It's just I think it's production specific, so just a matter of talking with people. But that is my wisdom. Also, check out that spreadsheet, Jackson. I'll send you
Yep, and I'll send it to the general Discord chat, of course.
I had 2 links I typed up. Animator Survival Guide. I just put a link to the Amazon one, but please feel free to not buy it from Amazon.
If you guys can't afford it, something that I've found that apparently apparently some company has been doing is they've actually been uploading all like the actual video lessons from the Animator Survival Guide onto different social media platforms. So if you look up the social media profile Animator Survival Guide, you'll find a lot of lessons and stuff and regarding animation. in those posts that they make. Yeah,
That's a good tip.
and I think we have one more question from Robbie.
Yeah, just a small trivial question. Have you ever heard of the animator James Lee?
Who?
James Lee from YouTube?
James Lee?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. James Lee. I don't know. Oh, I might have seen his stuff. Maybe. He might be hiring though. Reach out to this guy. Get some
Yeah.
work.
A lot of YouTube animators have been hiring recently also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
I've been helping on the YouTube channel and I hate it, but
And he uses he uses his body as he's like he uses his body and to create like you know how like it's like a way to
Mm. Yeah.
Huh.
where like he uses actually human body instead of actually drawing post to post. Like
Huh.
he knows animation so well that he can do like the same things that you can do like in software.
Yeah, I'm sure working with Rick, but I do recommend learning some fundamentals for drawing, even if you're just focusing on 3D stuff, like knowing how to draw well, super important.
Alrighty.
Nice guys. Great talking with you all. Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming. It was
Of
great
course.
having.
And feel free if anybody ever wants like a portfolio review or anything. My name's Tyler Letson. You could find me somewhere and I'm always happy to chat. And like if you hit me up on like LinkedIn or something, like just give me a heads up, like, hey, like send me a message or something like, hey, like I was one of the Penn State students, because I get like a lot of random people adding me on LinkedIn that I don't know. So I don't always accept everyone unless like I kind of know who they are. So
Yeah.
but you can find me there or Instagram. I'm on there too. So anywhere, but happy to look over work. That's it.
Much appreciated.
Thank you guys. Have a good
Have a
one.
good one.
Peace out.
Bye.
Alrighty.